The stars looked peaceful in the outer edges of the Kepler system. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Dakota, watching the quiet space around them. His ship moved slowly through the darkness, checking for new planets and resources. It was supposed to be a simple job. "Captain, we have something on the sensors," said Commander Lisa Bennett from her station. She was looking at her screen with worry in her eyes. 12 ships just came out of nowhere. They're big ones, too. Jake walked over to look at the readings. The ships were unlike anything he had seen before. They were smooth and curved, with a silver color that seemed to shine even in the dark of space. Each one was twice the size of the Dakota. They moved in a perfect formation, like they had done this many times before. "They're trying to talk to us, sir," said Lieutenant Ryan Brooks from the communications desk. His voice was calm, but Jake could hear the tension. "The translation is rough, but I think they want us to give up," Jake nodded. "Put it on the main speaker." A strange voice filled the bridge. The words were broken and hard to understand, but the meaning was clear. "Human ship, you are now property of Zephyrian Empire. Lower your weapons. Prepare for capture. Resistance will bring death." The crew looked at their captain. Some of them were new to deep space missions. Others had been with Jake for years. All of them waited to see what he would do. "Lieutenant Brooks, open a channel," Jake said in his steady voice. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the USS Dakota. We are on a peaceful mission. We have no quarrel with your empire. Perhaps we can talk about this." On the main screen, one of the alien ships grew larger. Jake could see it was the biggest one in their group. Its hull was covered in strange markings and what looked like weapon ports. Many weapon ports. Chief Engineer Pete Johnson spoke up from his station near the back of the bridge. "Captain, they're scanning us. Deep scans. They're looking at everything we have." Jake felt a small smile touch his lips. "Let them look, Pete. Make sure all our systems show normal readings." "Yes, sir," Pete said. He understood what the captain meant. On the alien flagship, Admiral Vecthara looked at the human ship with interest. The vessel was crude compared to Zephyrian technology. Its hull was simple metal plates welded together. Its weapons were basic energy cannons. Its power source seemed to be old fusion reactors. "Sub-Commander Crystal, what do you see?" the Admiral asked. The scanning officer looked at his displays. "The ship is primitive, Admiral. Simple construction, basic weapons. Their power output is low. I count maybe 200 crew members. Nothing we cannot handle easily." Admiral Vecthara felt pleased. Another easy conquest for the Empire. The Zephyrians had taken over 40 star systems in the past 10 years. Each time was the same. They found primitive species with weak ships and simple technology. They took what they wanted and left the rest as slaves. "Continue the deep scan," the Admiral ordered. "I want to know everything about these humans. Their technology will make a nice addition to our collection." Back on the Dakota, Dr. Amy Carter worked in the medical bay. She checked the supplies and made sure everything was ready. She had done this before. When Captain Morrison used that tone of voice, it usually meant trouble was coming. Commander Bennett watched her tactical displays. The alien ships surrounded them in a perfect circle. Each ship had more firepower than the Dakota showed on sensors. But Bennett knew something the aliens did not know. She waited for the captain's orders. "Captain," Pete called from engineering, "they're really digging deep with these scans. They're looking at our hull composition, our internal structure, our power distribution, everything." Jake nodded. "Good. Make sure they get a really good look." Lieutenant Brooks monitored the alien communications. He could hear them talking to each other in their strange language. His computer was slowly learning their words. What he heard made him shake his head. "Sir, I think they're planning to capture us and take our ship," Brooks reported. "They seem to think we're helpless." "Do they now?" Jake said. He walked to the center of the bridge and looked at the main screen. The alien ships were beautiful in their own way. Deadly, but beautiful. How long until their scan is complete, Pete? About 5 more minutes, Captain. They're being very thorough. Jake sat down in his command chair. Bennett, what's the status of our neighborhood friends? Commander Bennett checked her display. All stations report ready, sir. The mining platform, the cargo ships, the research vessel. Everyone's in position. Excellent. Jake pressed a button on his chair. The ship's internal communication system came to life. All hands, this is the captain. We have visitors who seem to think we're easy prey. As usual, we're going to show them how wrong they are. All departments, prepare for demonstration protocol. This is not a drill. On the alien flagship, Subcommander Crichton was finishing his detailed scan. The human ship was even more primitive than he first thought. Its computers were slow. Its weapons were outdated. Its defenses were almost non-existent. Admiral, the scan is complete, Crichton reported. The human vessel is no threat to us. We can take it whenever you wish. Admiral Vexthara stood up from his command throne. Excellent. Signal the other ships. We will begin capture procedures in Admiral. Crichton interrupted, his voice filled with sudden fear. The readings are changing. The human ship. It's not what we thought. On the Dakota's bridge, Jake Morrison smiled. It was not a kind smile. Pete, I think our guests have seen enough. Show them what human engineering really looks like. Sub-Commander Crichton stared at his scanning display with wide eyes. The numbers were changing fast. Too fast. The human ship that had looked so simple just moments before was showing readings that made no sense. Admiral, the hull composition is not what we detected, Crichton said, his voice shaking. What we thought was simple metal is something else. My computer cannot identify the materials. They are layered in ways I have never seen. Admiral Vexthara moved closer to the scanning station. Explain. The outer layer appeared to be basic. Steel plating. But underneath, there are 17 different layers of materials. Some of them seem to change their properties based on energy input. The hull is not just armor, Admiral. It is adaptive armor. On the Dakota, Captain Morrison watched the alien ships through the main screen. He could see their formations were getting tighter. They were nervous. Pete, what are they seeing down there? Jake S. Chief Engineer Pete Johnson checked his displays. Well, sir, they just figured out that our hull is not made of the materials we showed them. Their scanners are starting to pick up the real composition. The adaptive layers are responding to their scan beams. Commander Bennett looked at her tactical screen. Captain, the alien ships are moving closer. I think they are getting worried. Good. Jake said. Ryan, are you picking up their communications? Lieutenant Ryan Brooks nodded. Yes, sir. My computer is learning their language fast. They are talking about impossible readings and unknown technology. They sound scared. Dr. Amy Carter came onto the bridge from the medical bay. Captain, I have the medical bay ready for whatever comes next, but I am curious about something. How long have we been tracking these aliens? Jake smiled. About 3 months, Doctor. We have been waiting for them to find us. Back on the alien flagship, Crichton continued his report. His voice was getting higher with each new discovery. Admiral, the power systems are not fusion reactors. The energy signatures are wrong. I think they are antimatter systems, but the power output is beyond anything in our databases. That is impossible, Admiral Vexthara said. No primitive species has antimatter technology. Sir, there is more. The weapon systems are not what they appeared to be. The simple energy cannons we detected are just the visible weapons. There are hidden systems throughout the hull, hundreds of them. And the power distribution network is unlike anything I have seen. They have 17 separate power grids where we have 4. Admiral Vexthara felt a cold feeling in his stomach. What else? Crystal looked at his screen again. His hands were shaking as he worked the controls. Admiral, the internal scan shows that this ship is much larger inside than it should be. There are manufacturing bays, launch systems, and storage areas filled with smaller vessels. This is not just a battleship, sir. It is a mobile base. On the Dakota, Pete Johnson reported to the captain. Sir, they have discovered the fighter bays and the manufacturing systems. Should I show them the drone swarms? Not yet, Pete. Let them finish their scan first. I want them to see everything. Commander Bennett watched her displays as more alien ships moved into position. Captain, they are trying to surround us completely, but their formation is sloppy. They are scared and making mistakes. Lieutenant Brooks looked up from his station. Sir, I am picking up emergency communications between their ships. They are asking for orders. Some of them want to retreat. Dr. Carter sat down at an empty station. Captain, may I ask why we are letting them scan us so completely? Most ships would try to block such deep scans. Jake turned to look at her. Because, Doctor, we want them to understand exactly what they are dealing with. Fear of the unknown is temporary. Fear of the known lasts much longer. On the alien flagship, Sub-Commander Crystal made another discovery that made his blood run cold. Admiral, their computer systems are scanning us back. While we have been examining their ship, they have been examining ours. Their technology is learning our systems in real time. What do you mean? Admiral Vexthara demanded. They are copying our scan frequencies, our communication protocols, our navigation systems, everything. Their computers are adapting to our technology faster than our computers can analyze theirs. Admiral Vexthara looked at the human ship on his main screen. It still looked the same from the outside, simple and crude. But now he knew that appearance was a lie. Sir, Crystal continued, there is something else. The scan shows that many of the ship's systems are offline. What we are seeing is the ship running at minimum power. If they brought all systems online, the Admiral did not want to hear the rest. How many crew members? Sir, the life signs are confusing. I detected 200 earlier, but now I am reading over 3,000. And some of the readings are not human. Not human? Artificial intelligences, sir. This ship has AI systems running alongside the human crew. Advanced AI systems that are currently studying our technology. On the Dakota, Jake Morrison stood up from his command chair. Bennett, bring the point defense systems online. Not the big weapons, just the small ones. Let our guests see what human defensive thinking looks like. Commander Bennett smiled as she worked her controls. Aye, sir. Activating point defense grid. The hull of the Dakota began to change. Small panels opened across the entire surface of the ship. From each panel, tiny weapon systems emerged. Within seconds, the smooth hull of the human ship became covered with thousands of small cannons and energy projectors dot on the alien flagship. Crystal watched his displays with horror. Admiral, the human ship just revealed over 4,000 point defense weapons. Every square meter of their hull can defend itself. Admiral Vexthara stared at the screen. The human ship now looked like a metal sea creature covered in spines. How is that possible? Sir, human engineering appears to follow different principles than ours. Where we build ships with specialized systems, they build ships where every part can serve multiple functions. The hull is not just armor and structure. It is also a weapons platform. The Admiral realized that his 12 ships were now facing something that could potentially destroy his entire fleet. The primitive human vessel was revealing itself to be the most advanced warship he had ever encountered. Sir, Crystal said quietly, I recommend we withdraw immediately, but Admiral Vexthara knew it was too late for that. The humans had let them see their true capabilities for a reason. The question was what that reason might be. Captain Jake Morrison pressed the communication button on his command chair. His voice was calm and steady as he spoke to the alien fleet surrounding his ship. Admiral Vexthara of the Zephyrian Empire. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth Space Navy. I think we need to have a proper conversation. On the alien flagship, Admiral Vexthara was surprised. The human knew his name and rank. Their technology had learned that much about his fleet already. "Human captain, you will surrender your vessel immediately," the admiral replied, trying to sound strong. But his voice carried less confidence than before. Jake smiled. "Admiral, I think you misunderstand the situation. Let me introduce my crew properly. Commander Lisa Bennett runs our tactical systems. She has been watching your ships and notices you are making some mistakes in your formation." Commander Bennett looked at her displays. "Captain, should I show them what I mean?" "Please do, Commander." Bennett pressed several buttons on her console. The Dakota's sensors locked onto each alien ship and began broadcasting their exact positions, weapon loadouts, and shield frequencies on open channels. On the Zephyrian flagship, Sub-Commander Crixtal looked at his communications display with shock. "Admiral, they are broadcasting our complete tactical information. They know everything about our ships. Our weapon ranges, our shield frequencies, even our ammunition counts." Admiral Vexthara felt sweat on his forehead. How is that possible? Jake continued speaking over the open channel. "My chief engineer, Pete Johnson, is quite impressed with your scanning technology, Admiral. So impressed that he has copied it and improved it. Pete, would you like to say hello?" "Chief Engineer Pete." Johnson stepped forward. "Hello, Admiral. Your scanning systems are quite good, but they have a weakness. They send out too much information about your own ships while they scan. My computers have been learning about your technology for the past hour." Pete looked at his engineering displays. "For example, your ships use a single main power core with 3 backup systems. That is efficient, but it creates a single point of failure. Human ships use a different approach." As Pete spoke, the Dakota's power systems began showing their true capabilities. Instead of one main reactor, the ship revealed 17 separate power cores, each one capable of running the entire vessel. "We call it redundancy, Admiral," Pete explained. "If one system fails, 16 others can take over. If 10 systems fail, 7 others keep working. Human engineers build things to survive the worst possible situations." Dr. Amy Carter stepped onto the bridge and joined the conversation. "Admiral, I am Dr. Amy Carter, the ship's medical officer. I have been monitoring the health of your crew through your own life support systems. Several of your people are showing signs of severe stress. I can help with that if you would like." Admiral Vexthara was horrified. The humans had hacked into his ship's life support systems. They could monitor his crew and possibly do much worse. Lieutenant Ryan Brooks looked up from his communications station. "Captain, I have finished learning their language. I can now understand everything they are saying to each other." "They are very scared, sir." Jake nodded. "Thank you, Lieutenant." "Admiral, as you can hear, we humans are fast learners. But we are also reasonable people. We do not want to fight you if we can avoid it." On the alien flagship, Admiral Vexthara spoke quietly to his second-in-command. "How many ships do they have?" "Just the one, sir, but ... But what?" Sub-Commander Crixtal looked at his long-range sensors. "Sir, I am detecting other vessels in this system. Ships that were not here when we arrived." Jake Morrison continued his broadcast. "Admiral, let me explain something about human space doctrine. We do not like surprises. When we explore a new system, we make sure we are prepared for visitors." As he spoke, other human vessels began to appear on the Zephyrian sensors. A mining platform near the asteroid belt suddenly showed military-grade weapons and shields. 3 cargo ships that had been moving through the outer system revealed themselves to be heavy cruisers in disguise. The mining platform you see is actually Orbital Defense Station, Baker, Jake explained. Those cargo ships are the heavy cruisers Lincoln, Adams, and Jefferson. The small research vessel near the gas giant is the stealth ship Nighthawk, which has been watching you since you entered our space. Admiral Vex Thara realized his fleet of 12 ships was now outnumbered and outgunned, but the human captain was not finished. You see, Admiral, humans learned long ago that space is dangerous. We prepare for every possibility. Every human system has defenses. Every human ship can fight. Every human crew trains for war, even during peacetime. Pete Johnson added, we also build our equipment to last. These ships are designed to keep fighting, even when badly damaged. Human philosophy is simple. Build it strong, build it smart, and build lots of backups. Commander Bennett looked at her tactical display. Captain, the alien ships are trying to move into better positions, but they are making it worse. Their formation is falling apart. Show them why, Commander. Bennett activated a holographic display that appeared in the center of the bridge. It showed the positions of all ships in the system, with tactical analysis of each alien vessel. Admiral, your ships are built for fighting primitives, Bennett explained over the open channel. Your formations work well against single ships or small groups. But you are now in a prepared human system with overlapping fields of fire and coordinated defenses. The hologram showed how the human ships could attack the alien fleet from multiple directions while protecting each other. Dr. Carter added, we also have medical facilities that can treat your wounded, repair stations that can fix your ships, and food supplies that can feed your crews. Humans prefer to heal rather than harm, but we are very good at both. Jake Morrison stood up and looked at the main screen showing the alien flagship. Admiral Vex Thara, you came here thinking you would find easy prey. Instead, you found a species that has been preparing for visitors like you for a very long time. We are not angry with you, but we want you to understand something important. The captain's voice became serious. Humans do not start fights, but we always finish them. We build our ships to survive anything, our crews to overcome any challenge, and our defenses to protect everything we care about. We are offering you a choice, Admiral. We can be friends, or we can show you what human military technology really looks like. Admiral Vex Thara stared at the human ship on his screen. It no longer looked simple or primitive. It looked like the most dangerous thing he had ever encountered. Lieutenant Ryan Brooks worked quickly at his communication station. His fingers moved across the controls as new information flooded his screens. The alien communication networks were opening up to him like a book. Captain, I have broken into their fleet communications, Brooks reported. I can hear everything they are saying to each other. They are talking about retreat, but some ships want to fight. Captain Jake Morrison nodded. What else are you learning, Lieutenant? Sir, their technology is more open than they realize. Once I learned their basic protocols, their computers started sharing information automatically. I now have access to their star charts, their fleet positions, and their military databases. Admiral Vex Thara heard his communication officer report. The same thing. Sir, the humans have accessed our communication networks. They know about our other fleets, our home worlds, and our military strength. The Admiral felt sick. In less than 2 hours, these humans had learned more about the Zephyrian Empire than most enemies learned in years of war. On the Dakota, Commander Bennett looked at her tactical displays with interest. Captain, their weapons are impressive, but they have a serious weakness. All their systems depend on central control. If we disable their command ships, the others cannot coordinate. Interesting observation, Commander. What else do you see? Their ships are fast and powerful, but not flexible. Each ship has one job and does it well. Our ships can do many jobs and adapt to changing situations. Chief Engineer Pete Johnson called from his station. Captain, I have finished analyzing their technology. Their ships are actually quite advanced, but they build them differently than we do. How so, Pete? They focus on making each system as efficient as possible. It is good engineering, but it makes their ships fragile. When one system fails, it affects everything else. Our approach is different. We build systems that can work alone if needed. Dr. Amy Carter monitored the medical sensors. Captain, the stress levels on the alien ships are getting dangerous. Some of their crew members are having panic attacks. Their medical systems are not designed for this kind of psychological pressure. Jake Morrison walked to the center of the bridge. Admiral Vexthara, are you still listening? Yes, human captain, came the reply. The Admiral's voice sounded tired. Admiral, I want to show you something that might interest you. Pete, bring the manufacturing systems online. Chief Engineer Johnson pressed several controls. Deep inside the Dakota, massive machines started working. The ship's internal manufacturing bays began producing something new. What you are seeing, Admiral, is how humans approach warfare, Jake explained. We do not just build weapons. We build the machines that build weapons. Our ships can manufacture ammunition, spare parts, and even new weapons during battle. On the alien flagship, Sub-Commander Crixto watched his sensors with amazement. Admiral, the human ship is producing new equipment while we watch. Their manufacturing rate is incredible. What are they making? Admiral Vexthara asked. Drones. Sir, hundreds of small drones, and something else. I think they are communication devices. Jake Morrison continued his explanation. We are making communication translators, Admiral. Devices that will let your people and our people talk clearly. We are also making medical supplies for your crew members who are suffering from stress. Dr. Carter stepped forward. Admiral, I have prepared medical treatment for your people. Humans believe that taking care of others is just as important as protecting ourselves. Admiral Vexthara was confused. These humans had the power to destroy his fleet, but they were offering medical help instead. Commander Bennett looked at her long-range sensors. Captain, I am detecting more alien ships approaching this system, a much larger fleet, at least 50 vessels. Jake nodded calmly. How long until they arrive, Commander? 6 hours, sir. Lieutenant Brooks looked up from his station. Captain, the approaching fleet is sending messages to Admiral Vexthara. They are planning to attack us with everything they have. Admiral Vexthara felt a moment of hope. The second battle fleet was coming to rescue them. 50 ships against these humans and their tricks, but Captain Morrison just smiled. Admiral, it seems your friends are coming to help you. That is good. It will save us time. What do you mean? Admiral Vexthara asked. We have been tracking your second battle fleet for 3 weeks, Jake explained. We wanted them to come here. This system is where we plan to meet all of you. Pete Johnson worked at his engineering station. Captain, the deep space defense platforms are ready. The orbital weapons are charged. The minefields are active. Minefields? Admiral Vexthara said with shock. Commander Bennett brought up a tactical display. Admiral, this entire system is a trap. We have been preparing for your empire to find US for months. The minefields, the hidden weapons platforms, the disguised warships, everything was planned. The display showed the true scope of human preparations. Thousands of small weapons platforms floated throughout the system, asteroid bases with powerful guns, space stations that looked like research facilities but were actually military command centers. Dr. Carter added, we also have hospital ships ready to treat the wounded from both sides. We prepare for war, but we also prepare for peace. Jake Morrison sat down in his command chair. Admiral, let me explain why we did this. Your empire has been expanding for years, taking over primitive worlds and enslaving their people. We decided It was time for you to meet a species that fights back. But we only wanted to add your technology to our collection, Admiral Vexthara said. That is the problem, Admiral. You see other species as things to collect. Humans see them as people to protect. Lieutenant Brooks reported new information. Captain, I have accessed more of their databases. The Zephyrian Empire has conquered 43 worlds in the past 10 years. Millions of people have been enslaved. Jake's voice became hard. Admiral, that ends now. Your second battle fleet will arrive in 6 hours. When they do, they will find the same thing you found. Humans who are ready for war, but who prefer peace. Chief. Engineer Johnson looked up from his station. Captain, the new communication devices are ready. Should I send them to the alien ships? Yes, Pete, and include the medical supplies Dr. Carter prepared. Small drones launched from the Dakota and flew to each alien ship. They carried translation devices and medical equipment. Admiral Vexthara watched the drones dock with his ships. The humans were giving them help even while holding them prisoner. Captain Morrison, the Admiral said quietly, what happens when our second battle fleet arrives? Jake Morrison looked at the main screen. That depends on you, Admiral. You can warn them that humans are not easy prey, or you can let them learn the hard way. Either choice is yours to make. The alien Admiral realized that in 6 hours, 50 more Zephyrian ships would face the same trap his 12 ships had fallen into. The humans were not just defending themselves. They were ending the Zephyrian Empire's expansion forever. Admiral Vexthara stood alone on his bridge, looking at the communication device the humans had sent him. His crew was using the medical supplies Dr. Carter had provided. The stress medicines were helping his people feel better, but nothing could help the fear in his heart. Admiral, Sub-Commander Crixtal called softly. The second battle fleet will arrive in 30 minutes. Admiral Corex is demanding to know why we have not captured the human ship. Admiral Vexthara picked up the communication device. The human translation technology was perfect. When he spoke, his words would reach Captain Morrison clearly. Captain Morrison, this is Admiral Vexthara. I request permission to speak privately with you. Of course, Admiral, came the calm reply. I am listening. Captain, I need to understand something. You could have destroyed my fleet hours ago. Why did you not attack? Jake Morrison's voice was thoughtful. Admiral, humans have a saying. It is better to turn an enemy into a friend than to simply defeat an enemy. Dead enemies cannot learn. Living enemies can become allies. But my people have enslaved entire worlds. We have taken what we wanted and destroyed those who resisted. Yes, Admiral, we know. That is why we are here. Admiral Vexthara felt confused. I do not understand. Captain Morrison explained patiently. Admiral, the galaxy is full of species like yours. Strong people who take what they want from weaker people. But it is also full of species like the ones you have conquered. Good people who need protection. And humans protect them. When we can, Admiral. When we find empires like yours, we make them an offer. Stop taking slaves and start trading. Fairly, or face the consequences. On the Dakota's bridge, Commander Bennett watched her sensors. Captain, the alien fleet is dropping out of hyperspace. 51 ships, just as we expected. Lieutenant Brooks monitored communications. Sir, the new fleet is demanding that Admiral Vexthara report immediately. They sound angry. Dr. Carter looked at her medical displays. Captain, the stress levels on Admiral Vexthara's ship are getting better, but I am worried about the new fleet. They do not know what they are facing. Chief. Engineer Pete Johnson checked his systems. Captain, all defense platforms are ready. The hidden ships are in position. We can handle 50 ships as easily as 12. Jake Morrison stood up from his command chair. Admiral Vexthara, your second battle fleet has arrived. What are you going to tell them? Admiral Vexthara looked at his main screen. 51 powerful Zephyrian warships had formed up around the system. Each ship was ready for battle. Admiral Corex was an old warrior who believed in solving problems with weapons. Admiral Corex, Vexthara said over the fleet communication. System, I strongly advise caution. These humans are not what they appear to be. Admiral Vexthara, came the angry reply. You were ordered to capture one primitive ship. Instead, you have been talking to them for hours. Explain yourself. Admiral Corex, please listen to me. The humans have technology beyond anything we have seen. Their defenses are incredible. Their weapons could destroy our entire fleet. Impossible. No primitive species could threaten the Zephyrian Empire. Captain Morrison activated the open communication channel. Admiral Corex, this is Captain Jake Morrison of the USS Dakota. Welcome to the Kepler system. Human, you will surrender immediately, or face the full power of the Zephyrian Empire. Jake's voice remained calm. Admiral, I believe Admiral Vexthara tried to warn you. Perhaps you should listen to him. I do not take advice from primitives. Commander Bennett looked at her captain. Sir, should I show them the system defenses? Please do, Commander. The tactical display activated throughout the system. Every hidden weapons platform, every disguised ship, every orbital defense station revealed itself. The 51 alien ships found themselves surrounded by over 200 human defensive positions. Admiral Corex's voice lost its confidence. What is this? This is human preparation, Admiral, Jake explained. We have been ready for your empire for a long time. Pete Johnson activated the manufacturing systems on every human vessel. Within minutes, thousands of new drones launched from hidden bases throughout the system. Each drone carried enough firepower to damage a large warship. Dr. Carter opened a medical channel to all alien ships. Attention Zephyrian fleet. I am Dr. Amy Carter. I have medical supplies ready for any crew members who need help. We are prepared to treat wounded from both sides if fighting begins. Admiral Corex tried to sound strong. We have 51 ships. You cannot fight us all. Lieutenant Brooks looked up from his station. Captain, I have accessed their fleet database. Admiral Corex has never lost a battle against primitive species. That is because he has never fought humans before, Jake replied. Admiral Vexthara spoke to his fellow admiral privately. Corex, I have seen their capabilities. Each human ship can fight like 10 of ours. Their defenses are perfect. Their technology is beyond ours. We cannot win this battle. Then what do you suggest? Captain Morrison answered for him. Admiral Corex, I suggest you listen to what we are offering. The Zephyrian Empire can continue to exist, but it must change how it treats other species. What? Are your terms human? Simple terms, Admiral. Release all the slaves you have taken. Begin trading fairly with other species instead of conquering them. In return, humans will share some of our defensive technology to help protect your worlds from real threats. And if we refuse? Commander Bennett spoke up. Then we will do what we did here. We will wait for your fleets, surround them, and offer the same choice again. Eventually, you will run out of ships. Admiral Corex looked at his displays. The human defenses were overwhelming. His 51 ships could not fight 200 defensive positions, plus unknown numbers of hidden weapons. How do we know you will keep your word? Admiral Corex asked. Dr. Carter answered, Because, Admiral, we already kept our word. We could have destroyed both your fleets, but we chose to heal your wounded instead. Humans keep their promises. Pete Johnson added, We are also giving you new communication technology. That will work with every species in the galaxy. No more misunderstandings, no more excuses for conquest. Admiral Vexthara made his decision. Admiral Corex, I recommend we accept their terms. These humans are offering us a better way to live. Admiral Corex was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "Very well, Captain Morrison. The Zephyrian Empire accepts your terms. We will release our slaves and begin peaceful trading." Jake Morrison smiled. "Excellent, Admiral. Welcome to the galactic community." As the alien fleets prepared to leave, Admiral Vexthara had one last question. "Captain Morrison, how many other species have you made this offer to?" "You are the 47th Admiral. Most species choose peace when they see what war with humans would cost them." Admiral Vexthara understood now. The humans were not just defending themselves. They were changing the galaxy, one empire at a time. And they did it by being so prepared for war that peace became the only reasonable choice. The regret Admiral Vexthara felt was not just for attacking the human ship. It was for all the years his empire had spent as conquerors instead of protectors. But now, thanks to the humans, they had a chance to be better.